What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS 3 Raw TV. So, we're going to talk about a topic now that, since the pandemic, the lockdown specifically, this has gotten way worse. I've seen, like, way more instances of this. And that is many people on social media starting to have, like, these philosophical posts, right? Which I think is good that people are thinking, right? And they're starting to ask questions and they're starting to kind of look deeper inside themselves. I feel like this lockdown has really given people time to look inside themselves and actually get to know themselves a little bit, not just their families, but themselves, as far as you're busy, you're working, you have all this shit going on, you're contest prepping, whatever the case may be, and you don't really have time for yourself. You know, you're taking care of your family. Like, then you have that quiet time to yourself now that you start to look at things a little bit differently. You start to have these different questions, and you start to, oh, well, now I feel about like this. I used to feel like it about that. Like, things are changing, right? But what I don't like to see is, you know, and there's a lot of bodybuilders put that stuff up there. You know, I see a lot of people in these pro bodybuilders and influencers and stuff, they put up, they're not just like hokey gym poses and stuff anymore. It's not just like somebody standing there like flexing and stuff like that. It's, you know, it's a professional picture done. It's got edits and photoshopping to it. And it has this real philosophical post. Now, I know for a fact some of you guys are not writing those posts because I know you and you're not that fucking smart. You don't talk like that. Somebody wrote that shit for you and you cut and paste. But regardless, I feel like your heart's in the right place and you're trying to put forward a better product for your consumers, your followers, whatever you want to call them, fans, whatever you want to call them, right? So I get it. The problem that I have is with that happening, which I do believe is a good thing. I believe it's a positive thing. I really do. You have the people that don't truly understand it. Then when they read it and they think about it, they think they know what it is, but they don't really understand it. And what they do is they don't cut and paste it, but they come up with their own version of it. Then they take their own picture, they put that up with it, and then they put it up, right? Now, let's say somebody who's a real big influencer puts it up, and they have all these things that they've done, and all these accolades and stuff, and they've had 20 years of whatever it is, and they've had all these personal things they've been through, and all these things that people understand about them, and every aspect of their life helps other people, right? And they're always out there, you know, putting motivational stuff out constantly, and they're really good at it, right? They have the life that you can see that what they're talking about, they actually live that, right? That you can actually see that they not only understand those words that are in that paragraph, even if they didn't write it, but they're actually living it. They're actually out there living it, and they're trying to project to you, like, look, I was where you're at before. This is where I'm at now, and this changed, so I'm giving you some insight as to what's coming up for you. And I think that it confuses people because then they think, like, well, I got to be like that. And without going through those life experiences, without going through those bodybuilding experiences, whatever the case may be, they're trying to recreate those posts hoping that people will relate to them like they relate to those bigger influencers. So they wind up posting the same content pretty much that's just changed a little bit, but it's like the same basic meaning or message with a picture that's very similar, but it's completely lost on everyone because people don't look at them as they do as that influencer, because that influencer has the street credit that they've been able to follow for years that makes what they say have weight, has power, has the ability to change someone's life just with that post and the words sometimes, right? So the people that are out there faking it till they make it, that's pretty much what it is, right? Fake it till you make it. Put up all the inspirational things. You haven't done anything. You've never competed. Your physique is not that good. I mean, you still live in your parents' basement. Not that I'm knocking those things, but you're posting something that's very, like, worldly, meaning you've been around the world and you've done all these things, and I get it. You're mimicking your heroes. I get it 100%, and I totally understand. But you should stop. And I'm going to tell you why now. I get every day people going, Jerry, you know, I need help with my social media. I've actually had people on Skype and talk to me about social media and stuff on how they want to grow their social media. And they say, well, how did you do what you did? Now, first of all, I don't have that big of a social media, but as of today, 50 million people have watched my YouTube channel. 50 million people. That's a lot of fucking people for the little guy from Warren. Hundreds of thousands of followers. At the very least, I get 7,000 to 10,000 views per week. Now, yes, I'm not the biggest YouTuber out there, but for me, where I came from, that's still, I mean, the numbers I did years ago were even bigger, which is crazy, but that's consistent numbers all the time that people come back and they look for information, they look for things that I've said and done, see if they can relate to it, or maybe use it as a blueprint to get through things themselves, right? So while it is good to look to that person, right, that you're looking for inspiration, the reason why I was able to do what I did on the scale that I did was because I was just being me. I wasn't trying to copy another person. I wasn't trying to post like another person. I wasn't writing like them. If you go back and look through all my social media through the last 10 years, I guess it started, on YouTube, you can see me change along with it. You can see the way I talk change with it. You can see my views change with it. You can see me grow as a person. You can see that street credit. So when I say something now, people know that all the things that have happened to me that they've followed, they've seen it happen in real time up to now. And people can relate to those things along the way, but they can also say, I saw him go through this, I saw him battle this, and I saw him come out the other side. So I know he did this. Let me see what this is over here he's going through. So maybe that, I might be able to get something from that to help me too, right? Well, if you're out there and you're copying people, you're not helping people. You're not giving them anything to look at. You're giving them a fake product, which they're going to figure out very quickly. Like if you start talking about, well, the way to success is, and you're still living in your parents' basement working at 7-Eleven, which is nothing wrong with that, right? But that's not success, because that's not what you want for success. You want success to you is what you see the people that you're copying, right? They live in California, get a nice house, a nice car, they're in magazines. That is success to you. So how can you talk about success when you haven't even begun the road to be getting to success? You can't. And people sniff that out. People see that very quickly. They go, what the fuck's this guy talking about, right? Or they read something, maybe they go, wow, it's profound. Then they do a little digging into you and they find out you're just, a week ago you were posting pictures fucking doing funnel fucking shots in the backyard from a keg. And they're like, what the fuck? It's like, what is he talking about? Over here he's like successing. Over here he's doing handstand keg shots. Like, what the fuck? Like, what, and they can very quickly track what you've done over whatever time to see, like, you really have no basis from that. So you must have read it somewhere, or somebody must have done it for you, or somebody must have told you to do it to get more views. Like, I feel like nowadays the consumers out there, the followers, the fans, whatever you want to call them, they're very aware, they're very smart, and they're very apt to call bullshit when they see it. Like immediately when they see something that doesn't fit, they're like, that's fucking bullshit because I saw him before XYZ, he wasn't that strong. And he's saying he's naturally put 100 pounds on his bench in 2 weeks. Like they see it and they understand. They're not fucking stupid. So by you trying to be someone you're not only is your following not going to grow, but people are going to get turned off because they think you're copying people, that you're not real, you're not authentic, you're not legit. But if you just were yourself, right? If you got up that morning, instead of putting up this big thing, like this big philosophical thing, trying to sound like Kai Green, right? And you got up in the morning and you said, it's just a picture of you sitting there, like looking out like into the sky outside in the sun because we're in a pandemic, right? And you say, man, today's that day where I just don't want to fucking do anything, man. I feel depressed. I feel down. I'm not really sure why. This thing has ups and downs, but I'm going to do my best to turn this around. I'm going to go ahead and go work out in my living room. I'm going to do some meditation. I'm going to get in a positive frame of mind. I'm going to try to do things today that are positive to move me ahead further with, I want to open a business. So I'm going to try to make a logo today. Like, if you put up shit that was real about what you were doing and going through, now they can feel that coming through the post or through your video. Videos are the best because you can't hide in videos. Unless you're editing videos and shit like that and it's a movie quality video, which a lot of people do, they don't really get to know the people. If you turn the camera on like this and go, there's no way to hide who I am. There just isn't, right? It's a camera. I got to talk. Like, there's no script. There's no fucking second takes. It's me. If you do that and put the authentic you out there, people respond to it because they see that you're not hiding something. You're not trying to be something you're not, and people respect that. They don't just respect that, but they want to be that themselves. They may be influenced or motivated by someone else, but they don't necessarily want to, well, sometimes they want to be the other person, but they don't want to be like a knockoff, cheap, rip-off version of that person, right? They want to be their true, authentic selves, but have everybody understand them like they understand the celebrities, right? Have everybody feel what they feel about them as the celebrities, but for themselves, right? Why would you want to go out there and say, I'm going to post everything like Kai Green, and everybody thinks you're like Kai Green, like, oh, you're so smart like Kai Green, and they meet you and you're like, hey, what's up, man? Cool. And you're like, yeah, I remember that post where you said X, Y, and Z, and you're thinking like, fuck, I don't remember that post because it's not really you. Some shit that you read somewhere, changed a few words, and you threw it up on fucking Instagram, right? Like, so I guess the take-home message is here, I'm seeing the pandemic, the lockdown, the COVID-19 time, whatever you want to call it here in 2020, it's going on the last 3 months. I've seen people really try to fake what is going on to make it seem like they really have their shit together. And I know that's not true. And then what happens is these other people try to take that cue from these influencers and try to act like they really have their shit together. And they really don't. And it causes problems because as people see those inauthentic posts, they see those made-up realities, they look at their life, which is real reality. And the people posting that shit, their reality is not like what they're posting either. It's really more like the person reading it. And they go, wow, I must just be a loser. You know what I mean? I must be no good. I'm a scumbag. I'm not as good as them and not as cool as them. Fuck, my life is shit. Because I'm in this pandemic and I'm not having a good time. I'm having a hard time and I need money and I can't train and I'm going, my body's getting softer and I'm getting fatter and fucking, even though I'm dying, like, you start fucking with their heads and actually start getting them to be fucking depressed, not motivated. It's the opposite, guys. It's the opposite. So to all the influencers out there, like, do your thing. I don't give a fuck what you do. You choose what you want to do. If it's fake, I promise this right now, people are figuring it out. People are seeing it. I've seen people lose lots of thousands, many thousands of followers very quickly in the last 2 weeks for putting up posts that don't make any fucking sense because, companies trying to sell things. Like, they're trying to sell like fucking $2,000 bikes right now. And I'm like, now's not the best time to be marketing a $2,000 bicycle. How many of those fucking things are you going to sell right now? Right? Like, people see that and they go, these motherfuckers, $2,000 bikes. Nobody's got $2,000. They don't give a fuck about us. Like, I'm seeing people starting to stand up and realize that that bike company is going to go out of business. Rather than saying, look, we're really fucking having a hard time, so we're going to do some sales just to stay open, where people might go, I'll buy that bike for later on. They're looking at it as they don't give a shit about us. They're trying to promote products. They're trying to push products, which that company's got to stay open too. But people are realizing that if you're trying to promote things, promote yourself, promote products in a way that is like non-pandemic, like this is not going on, they realize that that's not real. And they're not just judging it. They're making decisions based on whether they believe you anymore, your credibility, whether they're going to follow you anymore, whether they're going to come see you at expos, whether they're going to buy your products. They're making those decisions right now based on who you are at your core and what you're doing and what you're being during this pandemic. Are you being a human being? Are you being a solid human being out there trying to help people and share your life and your views and your thoughts, no matter how happy they are or how dark they are? Are you out there all about, I'm in my new Gymshark outfit, trying to show everybody how awesome I am in my living room, fucking lifting weights with fucking water jugs because I think that I'm teaching somebody like, motherfucker, you think we don't know how to use water jugs or fucking cans or fill up trash bags and fuck? You think we can't figure that shit out? Like, we're not stupid. People are not stupid. They can figure that shit out. How about you sit down and turn the camera? I saw Amanda Latona, and Steve Kuklow's wife. I'm sure you guys know Amanda, the one with the amazing glutes. Put up a post that was so much from her heart, so from what she saw that was going on. I wish I could have liked that video a million times. Things that she was so open with, so honest about, right? That I think a lot of people were thinking and feeling. I watched that whole video. I don't know how long it was, but I rarely watch a whole video nowadays. I watched that whole video and said, some of it I can agree with, some of it I cannot agree with, some of it I see, some of it I don't see, but she opened my eyes to help me look at something that I may not have been looking at before. But that was an awesome, heartfelt video from somebody who was influential with millions of followers, and then her husband Steve has millions of followers, and I'm sure they're watching. Now you have double millions of followers that she can influence by being her authentic self, saying what's really on her mind about real topics that's going on. And I was like, wish everybody would do that. Cutler does the same thing. He talks about things very openly too like that. I watch, Sean Roden do it. There's a lot of people out there that are being real about what's going on right now. But the bottom line is, no matter what they're doing, those of you that are not those big influencers and stuff, those people that are really out there, in the public eye, you're the people that have less followers or no followers or few followers. Don't get trapped in trying to be like someone else. Be yourself. It was The Rock. The Rock said this quote, which changed my life back, it's 2012, I think it was. I think it was 2012. The quote was, the most powerful thing you can be in your entire life is just being yourself. And the hardest thing to be in your whole life is yourself. And I remember that struck me like a ton of bricks. A ton of bricks when I heard that. Because it made sense to where I'm looking around and I'm seeing all these clones of people. Right? If one bodybuilder has this tank top on, everybody goes out and buys that tank top. If one bodybuilder has this fucking hat on, everybody goes out and buys that hat. If this one brand takes a bunch of money and pushes it into, all these top fitness and physique people, next thing you know, all the people want to wear it because they're wearing it. Like, everybody's trying to be like someone else, right? Except for the person who invents the product. Like, Gymshark was trying to be like nobody else. They invented a product that was like nothing else. They give it to people that are influencers. Now everybody wants to be like them and have their product. But you realize you're chasing a product that was an idea of an originality that wasn't ripping it off, wasn't like someone else. They created that and then handed it off to the influencers to make you look at it and decide whether you like it or not. Those influencers are what made you like it. But the bottom line is, that company was original. Those influencers were original by wearing it, and now it's produced all these minions and that's good business. But realistically, do you have to buy the new Gymshark outfit? Do you have to run out there and buy the new thing that this person's saying you have to have? You don't. But let's say it interacts with your life and it fits with your life. Then you get it. You do it for you. You don't do it to look like that person. You do it because that tank top looks good on you. Those pants look good on you. And that gives you the best look that you have. And you feel good in it. Right? Well, no matter what it is. I don't care if it's Target brand or whatever. You feel good in it. It gives you the feeling of being your authentic, true self. And that feels good. That's where you want to be. Being your authentic, true self and feeling good. And even doing sometimes things that other people are not doing or don't want to do. Or other people think are stupid. Or other people are like, well, that's not cool because that person doesn't do it. I don't care what that person does. This is what I'm doing. Right? So I guess the whole take home from this whole thing is this pandemic has given a lot of people time to think. And I think a lot of people are starting to become more original in their true selves. And they're doing their own social medias. And they're really putting out content that I feel like if we took all the likes away, it would be more like what's coming out now, pretty much. Because people are not necessarily doing it for likes. They're doing it because they really don't know what else to do because they can't do all this promotion for these businesses and shit because people don't have the money to buy things. So they're putting out more authentic stuff on in their Instagrams and social media and stuff for themselves. And I think that's a good thing. It's just a little warning for you guys to understand that like sometimes you get wrapped up in it and I'm no different. I bought like all the different tank tops and the shirts and the hats and fucking, I wore straps that these bodybuilders wore, this logo on it, whatever. I mean, I went through all that shit too and then realized, why? Why don't I just do what I want to do and, just be me? Like that's the crossroads I got to, which many of you may get to soon or maybe some of you already have. But the bottom line is to get your social media to grow, to try to not be like these people, but to try to get to where these people are yourself. You have to be your true, authentic self. And the best example, this is a long video, but I want you people to understand because I get this question a lot. In 2012, 2013 is when I really started going to these expos and having a lot of notoriety as far as the YouTube thing. And all of a sudden, the YouTube influencers in the fitness industry were the biggest thing around. These pro bodybuilders were having nobody in lines. We had people lined up. It was like every YouTuber had people lined up. And it was like Furious Pete, it was Rich Piana, it was C.T. Fletcher, it was Mike Rashid, it was Mark Lobliner, it was Nick Wright, it was Big J Extreme Fitness. I mean, it was, you name them, Legends of Aesthetics, Hodge Twins, Lex from out in the UK. You name all the fucking the YouTuber, and we were all at these expos together, right? And what was interesting was every one of us was different. Every one of us was different. We would have people go from line to line to line. They'd say, oh yeah, I just went to see Rich. Oh, I went to see CT. Oh, I just saw Mike Rashid. Oh, I just saw Lobliner. They'd go from line to line to see all of us, right? It wasn't like they had to choose one or the other, right? Because all of us were different doing our own thing. And people understood that. We weren't copying each other. We weren't trying to outdo each other. We were just focusing on ourselves. And that whole time, I feel like that was the time that YouTube media grew so big that everybody tried to jump in on it because they were like, these guys are doing well, they're making money, they're traveling, getting opportunities, I want to do it. So they tried to copy all of us. I mean, I have people that have my actual format of what I do sitting in front of a camera with whatever behind them. I've had people copy the way that I talk, the way that I present things. I've had people even copy my supplements already because they think that's what you do to be successful. When really the way that I got to be where I'm at and everybody else did was just being ourselves. We would see each other, like travel the world with each other. And see each other in other countries, other states, and we'd get together, we'd have dinner, we'd have lunch, there was no animosity, there's no jealousy, because we're not competing with each other, because you can't compete with another individual when you're just yourself. He's him, I'm me. There's no competition there. What he says and what he does is different than what I do and what I say. Therefore, some people are going to like him, some people are going to like me, and some people are going to like both. But they're not going to polarize and go one way or the other. So it was like, they're going to buy my t-shirt, they're going to buy Legends of Aesthetics t-shirt, they're going to buy a Rich Piana t-shirt. I mean, there were people that were posting on social media every day. They were posting a different shirt from a different one of us, right? And that was the whole key, was the fact that we were trying to just be ourselves. Then when everybody flooded it trying to copy everybody, now it just became a shit show of who's real, who's not. And nobody, like, you went from being, wow, I'm a YouTuber, I'm a full-time YouTuber, to like, wow, like, that's respectable. Like, yeah, I got 150,000 followers, blah, blah, blah. I got 800,000 views on this video. People go, wow, it's amazing. Like a YouTuber, and then you show them, and they're like, holy shit, Like, oh, this is like, I was in Australia, so Dubai, and like, wow, you do a lot with YouTube? That's amazing. And nowadays you feel it's like, well, yeah, I'm a YouTuber, and you go and they have like 5 followers, which is not a big deal, but it's not really, there's nobody watching it yet, right? And there's no edits to it whatsoever, and it's done on the phone straight up and down. It's got black bars, and it's them doing a bench press, and there's one video up, and you're like, yes, by the technical term, you're a YouTuber, but you are not a full-time YouTuber. You are not a full-time YouTube influencer. Like now we've had to come up with other names. Before we were just YouTubers before. We've had to come up with other names to separate the two different factions because everybody thought, well, I can just do what they do and I'm going to be fucking huge. And then they half-ass it. Some people copy us exactly. Other people half-ass it and it flooded the system. They just let those things go and it got to the point where it watered everything down and people just didn't know what to believe. They were like, well, these people are acting just like them, so they're all the fucking same, right? If I watch this guy with fucking 20 followers, this guy with 100,000, the guy with 20 followers is doing the same shit and saying the same things as that guy. So why do I have to watch all this guy's videos? When this guy's only got 2 videos, I can watch his 2 and get all the same information. Like it threw everything off because people were copying other people. So again, the take home is, I know it's a long video, guys. I'm sorry it went long, but I want to make sure I get my points across. And we're in quarantine. We don't have much to do anyway, so listen to my dumbass talk. I appreciate it, guys. So the whole take home, final take home, so the bottom line, we're going to bottom line it, is just try to be yourself. Try to be authentic. Do things that you think that are important to you and messages you want to get out. Even if you see nobody doing them, it's okay because there's a lot of people out there going through things that you are that may look up to you, may need your help, may need your advice, or may just need some motivation or inspiration just for the day by something you said. But it's only going to come if you're being yourself. BioStrengthTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below. Don't fight. BioStrength.com is a blog. It's just be yourself bicep, and we are out.